Let me mess with your head for a second. What if your YouTube isn't failing because your videos are bad, but because you're using YouTube like it's a billboard? Like it's an ad slot you rent for a few seconds of attention. Because if that's how you're using it, you can buy better gear, make the edits cleaner, and even hire a better team, and it still won't work the way you want it to. Not because you're not trying, but because you're playing the wrong game. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most businesses treat YouTube like an ad platform. How do we get people to buy? Sounds logical until you remember why people open up YouTube in the first place. They don't go there to get sold to. They go there to watch, to learn, to feel something, to be entertained, motivated, distracted, inspired. YouTube is a media platform, which means it rewards the brands that become the channel people choose, not the brands that shout the loudest. That's why Red Bull wins on YouTube. Not because they ran better ads. Red Bull didn't out-advertise everybody, they out-published them. They became a media company disguised as a beverage company. Their channel isn't a commercial. It's a world, a culture, something people voluntarily subscribe to because it already matches what they love. So in this video, I'm going to give you the mindset shift that makes that possible, and I'll show you how any normal business can steal it without needing Formula One, cliff diving, or celebrity athletes. Because the tactic isn't do extreme sports, the tactic is much more useful. Stop thinking like an advertiser and start thinking like a publisher. Here's the problem in plain language. Most brands show up on YouTube like this. Hey, buy our thing. Here's our features. Here's why we're different. Here's a discount. Book a call. And then they wonder why views are low, why retention falls off of a cliff, why nobody comments, and why the channel doesn't generate leads. But from the viewer's perspective, the content feels like an interruption. It feels like you're trying to extract attention instead of earning it. People respond the same way they respond to an ad on the highway. Their brain filters it out. Red Bull looked at the entire system and said, what if we stop acting like a soda company that advertises and start acting like a media company that publishes? And that's the whole difference. Advertising is renting attention. Publishing is owning attention. Advertising is showing up where you're not wanted, hoping people tolerate you long enough to click. Publishing is building something people actually want so they come back on purpose. And this is what changed online. The old internet was built on interruption, commercials, pop-ups, banners, billboards. But now the game is participation. People don't want to be interrupted. They want to be immersed. They want content that feels like it belongs in their life, like a show, like a story, like a vibe. The brands that win aren't the ones that yell louder. They're the ones that build a world people want to step into. So let's land the core idea. Stop thinking like an advertiser, start thinking like a publisher. An advertiser asks, how do we talk about our product? A publisher asks, what does our audience already love, and how do we publish that better than anyone else? That question changes everything, because most brands create content about themselves. Publishers create content about the audience's obsession. And when you do that, your content stops feeling like a pitch and starts feeling like it was made for the viewer. Now let's talk about Red Bull for a second, because they're the cleanest example. Red Bull doesn't sell caffeine. They sell adrenaline, speed, risk, performance, pushing limits. They sell the identity their audience wants. That's why their YouTube isn't centered on the can. It's centered on the person who watches it. If you're the type of person who loves intensity and challenge, Red Bull's content doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like culture. And that's the key. When your content becomes the culture your audience already wants, your brand stops interrupting their life and starts belonging in it. Then, almost accidentally, you become the brand that lives inside the culture. That lifestyle ownership. That's how Red Bull becomes bigger than a beverage in people's minds. Now here's the part that matters for you. You don't need extreme sports. You don't need a giant budget. You just need to answer one question most businesses never answer. What category do you want to own in your customer's mind? Not your product category, your feeling category. Because product categories make you interchangeable. We're accounting, we're real estate, we're IT, we're landscaping. That makes you one option among many. A feeling category makes you memorable. It makes you the default. Red Bull owns adrenaline. Nike owns resilience and empowerment. Apple owns creativity and status. Harley-Davidson owns freedom. Patagonia owns the planet matters. Those aren't products. Those are identities. So what do you own? If you're a foundation repair company, maybe you own peace of mind. If you're a financial advisor, maybe you own confidence about retirement. If you're a gym, maybe you own the comeback. If you're a local business, maybe you own belonging. If you're a business-to-business service provider, maybe you own clarity and control. That's the real brand. The product is just the delivery system for the feeling. Now, Red Bull took this one step further that most businesses miss. They didn't just make content, they built a media house. And I'm not saying you need a studio. I'm saying you need a system, a repeatable publishing engine, formats, series, cadence, distribution, and a consistent voice. Red Bull doesn't rely on third-party media to tell their story. They don't rent their voice. They own the pipeline and the relationship. That's why their channel compounds over time. Most businesses do the opposite. They outsource their voice, post randomly, change styles every few videos, and then wonder why it feels inconsistent and forgettable. Here's the truth. If you don't own the publishing system, you're not building a channel. You're building a pile of videos, and piles don't compound. Systems do. So let's make this painfully practical. Advertiser content sounds like, here's what we do. Here's our offer. Book a call. Publisher content sounds like, here's what you care about. Here's the problem nobody explains. Here's the behind the scenes. Here's the story. Here's what to watch out for. Here's the community. One demands attention, the other earns attention. So how do you apply this as a normal business? Here's a simple framework. First, pick the world. What world does your customer want to live in? What identity are you trying to step into? Second, pick your content pillars. Think of them like shows, not random topics. Repeatable formats people can recognize. Third, commit to consistency. Publishers don't post when they can, they publish like it's their job, because it is. Fourth, build community language, because people don't just follow content, they join identities. And fifth, sell quietly in the background. Your product should show up as the tool, not the punchline. Let me give you a quick example. Say I run a foundation repair company. My world isn't concrete and piers. My world is protecting the home. The feeling category is peace of mind. So my pillars might be homeowner horror stories with lessons, early warning signs people can catch before it gets expensive, behind-the-scenes repairs that build trust, neighborhood-specific soil and weather updates that position me as the local authority, and live Q&As where homeowners can ask questions in real time. That's a media company. That's something people would actually subscribe to. And notice how the product shows up naturally, because it belongs inside the world, not as the punchline. And this is the prize. When your business becomes a media company, you stop competing on price. You stop begging for attention. You stop relying on luck and referrals. You become the brand people trust before they need you. You become the default choice in their mind, not because you yelled louder, but because you earned the relationship over time. So let's recap this in plain English. YouTube is not an ad platform. It's a media platform. Stop thinking ads and start thinking publishing. Choose the feeling category you want to own. Build content people choose to watch, not content they tolerate. Build a publishing system, not a pile of videos. And let your product live in the background as the tool that serves the world you create. If you want help turning your YouTube into a predictable client-getting system, let's talk. Book a 30-minute strategy session with me using the link in the description. I'll look at your channel, your offer, and your content, and I'll tell you exactly what to fix first so your next videos actually move the business. And don't stop here. Watch my next video, how businesses turn YouTube into real revenue, because it's the natural step and it'll help you keep building this into a real growth engine.